And this first bit of information comes from, once again, solvethecase.org. And I'm assuming that this was written, because it gives a summary and some of the details, by a member, maybe one of Miss Leavy's children, just by the way it's worded. But this is from July 12th, 2000, from Brownsville, Tennessee. The Haywood County Sheriff's Department is the jurisdictional department in this case. And the summary, it says, my mother was a victim of a homicide by her, and this is alleged, I have to say alleged, brutal boyfriend in the year of 2000. He was a very verbal and physical abusive man. He would threaten her by stating he's going to take her away from her kids, and he did exactly what he promised her. Yes, I grew up in an abusive home. Imagine going to school and not being able to focus in your studies because of your lack of attention span is all forced upon your helpless mother. And I'm telling you, I've read this a few times, and it just almost brings me to tears just reading I can just hear the pain in the voice. In July of 2000, my mother's life was taken by this delusional man, and justice was never served. My siblings and I need closure. We are the victims of injustice rights. Our mother's soul needs to rest in peace. The Brownsville, Tennessee Police Department has the evidence they need to procure, praying for justice for our lovely, beautiful mother, gone but not forgotten. So that is the information from solvethecase.org. And I was not able to find an article to go with this, but I found a post. I need a drink right quick. From, it's on Facebook. So from Tennessee Missing and Unsolved, that gives a little bit more information. It says a woman trying to leave an abusive relationship was, they have it in quotes, mysteriously beaten and shot. Darlene Leavy was a 36-year-old mother. One look at her daughter's post will tell you that she was the kind of woman who would do anything for her kids. She was born in Stanton, Tennessee, and she was the baby girl of the family. Darlene ended up moving to Brownsville, Tennessee, where she had met and got into a relationship with a man named Ricky. I'm told that Ricky was definitely not the man Darlene had hoped he was. He was jealous, angry, and abusive. On more than one occasion, Darlene hid bruises with makeup. Her kids would often beg her to stay in the room with them until he, quote, calmed down. Despite her best attempts to protect them from the dysfunction, they still knew that something was going on. In the summer of 2000, Darlene had finally made the choice to leave him. And in DV situations, we know that that is the most dangerous time, is when a DV victim is trying to leave. So Darlene had finally made the choice to leave him, but she never got to break free during her earthly life. On the night she left this world, Darlene had sent one of her daughters to a relative's house for the night. Another daughter was at home in the bed asleep with the sounds of the radio blaring loudly throughout the trailer. Another daughter lay in bed fast asleep, unable to hear anything over the blaring of the radio inside the home. In the early hours of the morning of July 12th, 2000, Darlene was in another room suffering the last bit of hell that she would ever endure. I'm told that she was beaten and shot, then left lying on the floor, fighting for her life, while Ricky went to get some things, including the firearm, out of the home. When Ricky returned, he woke Darlene's daughters up and told her that Darlene had shot herself. And unfortunately, Darlene succumbed to her injuries. Today, Darlene's kids want to know why there was not justice for their mom. According to them, the police report says homicide, but the death certificate says accident. Why wasn't an autopsy ordered? So apparently they did not even do an autopsy. So you have the police report says homicide, the death certificate says accident, and there was no autopsy. According to one of Darlene's kids, neighbors and friends of Darlene's have spoken up and said that Ricky had said that he was going to take the life of Darlene. And Ricky has allegedly told people that he did not mean to kill her. I can't speak for what did or did not happen inside that home, but I can say that an autopsy should most definitely have been performed. And I can 100% understand the anger and frustration her kids feel about this case. So apparently in August of 2003, Ricky was charged with a DV assault, but those charges were later dismissed. It says, if you have any information, please speak up. Answers and peace are needed. And this came from, like I said, the Tennessee Missing and Unsolved Facebook page or group or whichever it is. So just, yeah, it sounds like this case, things were not, in just my opinion. I'm not a professional anything, but I try to use my thinking skills, what little I have. But yeah, even, like I said, the police report said homicide, death certificate said, accident, no autopsy performed. You had neighbors and friends that heard him say that he was going to take her life. He said he didn't mean to take her life. So, yeah, so needs to be something going on with this case. Anyway, let me get into your caught up with your comments here. Let's see. Miss Avery said this lady's face looks very familiar. Yeah, I think I've kind of read maybe an article about, if you're talking about Darlene, this case, read an article at some point about this, or maybe just from scrolling through the solvethecase.org. I probably read it. Yes, definitely. Yes, Miss Paula, definitely suspicious. Absolutely. Miss Avery, you talking about Darlene? She says, so they have her body, but no one charged. I don't know if you're talking about that, or if I missed something in chat. Yep. Yep, no one is charged. Now, they said Ricky, which was her husband, in 2003, and this was from, she was killed in 2000, was charged with some kind of domestic assault. I don't know who it was against. Maybe, I don't know, another girlfriend or something that didn't say. Yes, absolutely. Please hit the like button. Absolutely. Yeah, Arctic says these cold cases break my heart. I know. Me too. Me too. Avery says I must have seen this lady's face in a group on Facebook. Possible. Miss Avery said, I was thinking yesterday, listening to the Idaho updates about all the cold cases unsolved, not sure which would feel worse. True. Miss Barbara says she's seen this one. Yep. Chris said, this case upsets me. Absolutely. I know. I mean, I can just hear, the kids, just the kids. It doesn't matter if they're little kids, well, they're little kids when it happened. But they're grown now, but it doesn't matter how young or old, or, how old the kids are. You just breaks my heart. You just never get over. I mean, obviously, you just never get over something like this.